taking you over. You don't know my name yet. By the time you looked away, already knew I couldn't fake it. I got this need for you, forming in my beating heart. I knew the meaning right away. Only yesterday were worlds apart. I got this name for you. If you come closer, I can whisper in your ear. And if you wanna walk away, I'll tell you all the things I know you'd wanna hear. Come closer, tell you if you come over. I know we go further with you. I'm in for I got this need for you, forming in my beating heart. I knew the meaning right away. Only yesterday were worlds apart. I think I may love you if you give me some time. Maybe you'll love me too. Come closer, tell you if you come over. I know we go farther with you. I'm in Come closer, tell you if you come over. I know we go farther with you. Come closer, tell you if you come over. I know
Everyone, it's Jasmine again. I'm back with a quick little cooking video, portion, segment, thing, tutorial, who knows, showing you how I do my pineapple fried rice. It's kind of like a healthy vegan spin on pork fried rice. I need a blender to blend our pineapple marinade that we're going to top the rice with. And you're going to need a saucepan. Something pretty big, this size will do. I'm making a lot today, but if you wanted to make a little or a lot, you would just need to scale up or scale down the ingredients or amount of the ingredients you're going to use. I like to have everything laid out before I start, just to know I have everything beforehand, and hopefully this is helpful so you guys know step by step what I'm doing and what I'm using in case I'm not detailed with it. So you're going to want to use some ginger springs. These are from the Asian market, and literally they're just strings of ginger. I don't see these very often. You really have to look for them. I'm almost out of this jar. These are super good in any type of rice dish. It just adds like that I don't know how to explain it, but it just gives something to the soy sauce when you're sauteing it like no other flavor does. And I really recommend the strings because it just has like a certain crunch to them, especially when it's cooked down. So you're going to need that. And also I went ahead and bought some green onions, scallions, and I'm going to probably use a whole lot of this to cook into the rice as well as top it with when I'm done, because I do like to eat those raw as a topping. And you're going to need a pineapple. You don't need to use a whole pineapple for this, honestly, but you're going to need some fresh pineapple. You can use canned, but canned doesn't really have like the same nutrients. You want this to kind of be healthy as well, and I find the pineapple balances out everything. You're going to need some oyster sauce, and then you're going to need some soy sauce. I have really always loved this light soy sauce by Pearl Bridge. My mom put me onto this one. She got this once. I tried it, loved it. I always use this. I honestly do believe this is like the perfect soy sauce for fried rice because it's just not too dark. It kind of has like that kind of, I don't know, it tastes really great. And then as far as seasonings, you really don't need anything. The soy sauce really does the trick, as well as the ginger. But if you want a little bit of added heat and spice, so it's a little hotter, just plain red pepper flakes will be fine. And sometimes I'll add a little bit of salt to the pineapple pomade that we're making for our topping for the rice, but you really don't need that. I find that pineapple has like a certain bitterness that's reminiscent of salt that you don't really need to add it, in my opinion. But it's always good to have that on hand in case it needs it. I never add sugar to anything. Like, I really try and avoid that, and I find that most things have natural sugar in it, so you don't need to add it. Also, last but not least, you're going to need some cooking oil. I use the canola, I could say that word, canola oil to fry my rice. Swear by it, it works. You can use sesame oil and all that stuff, but I find that this actually is fine as long as you don't overdo it. Okay, so that is all the ingredients I'm going to be using for, oh, and let me show you as well. So in the pineapple concoction we're making, I like to add something that is almost reminiscent of like a sweet and sour sauce that has, you know, Asian ingredients already in it. Something from the Asian market, something that's going to work in it. And I like this spring roll sauce, I guess, in the actual pineapple mix we're making. Mostly because it has like ginger in it, for example. It has things in it that are going to really make it more of an Asian type of sauce. And this, I find, works. It on its own, it's too sweet and it doesn't have like that pineapple taste, obviously, but adding this in as like a filler really makes it really makes the taste pop, in my opinion. So we're also using that. So I'm going to go ahead and turn my camera off. I'm going to slice and dice and get everything ready to throw into the skillet. I'm going to show you how I fry the rice in my sauces and how I create the pineapple topping as well. So I'll pull you guys up in a minute. We have all our ingredients and let's just start cooking because I'm hungry, I'm starving, I need to eat. First off, we have our skillet. Now this has been preheating. This is very hot grease, y'all, so you want to be careful with this, but you want to have it nice and hot. Add in some oyster sauce. I typically eyeball this out, but if you want to measure it, it's actually a good way of remembering how much you use for a given dish. But for me, we're just going to add a decent amount in there. Our soy sauce, we're going to use the Pearl River Bridge that I showed you before. Add a little bit of that. And then also you're going to want to just kind of gently, very gently, just stir that together a little bit. Perfect. Now we're going to take our white rice.
Add that in there as well.
Once we have our rice added, I take a kind of something with a pronged edge because you want to break up the rice. You don't want to smush it. We still want it to be whole rice, but you want to separate it so it doesn't clump together. So that's what we're going to do now. And simultaneously, while this is still frying, right in the early process of it, you want to toss it. Like, you want to coat your rice with the oyster sauce and the soy sauce, right? So we're just gently going to do that. We don't want to disturb it too much, but we're lightly going to coat it so it's all even. So that is going to be the rice. So you're just going to let that be. pretty much where you want to leave it. There's still quite a bit of oil on the rice right now. It doesn't look like it. It looks like it all got stirred in, but that's how you want it to look. We're going to pretty much do a pan fried rice. So it's going to fry in the pan. We're going to leave it on hot for I guess about 5 minutes or so, and then we're going to come back and turn that so it keeps frying on all sides of the rice. Another thing that I do as well while it's kind of in this state of cooking is I add a little bit more of the ginger. So I'll take this and then just gently, just kind of sporadically top it with a little bit more ginger. And I find that that really makes the ginger taste a lot more prominent as well too. Really helps with the flavoring. You really want to make sure there's enough juices in there. So when you're cooking or blending the pineapple in this case, it's going to have enough juice to really blend it together. So you don't need to add too much, honestly. The pineapple has a very strong taste, but you do want to do enough to your liking. I like to do a whole lot of this. I like the sweet contrast with the rice, so I'm going to add a lot more. Fruits do have a little bit of water at the level of the fruit. So when you blend it, it does blend together, but it's going to be a lot harder without some added water. So I'm going to add just a little bit. You don't want to dilute it too much, but just enough for it to blend really nicely. And then, as I said before, we're going to add some of this as well, and we're just going to add that. Not too much, just a little bit. Okay, so at this point, once it's starting to cook down, you're going to want to add your green onions at this point. You don't want them to be too overcooked. That's why we're adding it a little later. But then again, you do want it to stir up and cook into the rice somewhat.
Then we're going to take it and just lightly stir that into our rice.